Hey, you cute little teddy bear ass. You. I wanted to chit a little bit of a chat, because I have made some changes. I made a post about one of those changes, which is, I guess I'll get into that in the second half, but essentially, I have just made the sprites taller, which will be, I think, a lot more, nice in the game, except for younger sprites, right? Like the child sprite is unchanged. Its size and dimensions that probably aren't going to change. The only thing that might change on that is a little bit of the design, a little bit, at some point. But that would also, cutscenes or things. So probably would just be um nothing. We'll see. I don't think it's necessary, but it does come into my mind every now and then. Anyway, so we'll get into all that at the end of this. Laura, be good girl. It's really hot, and in order to make this video, I turned off the fans and the AC, but it is hot. So, I thought that I would introduce this little thing that I'm doing as well here, which is the new god. So, not the new god. New old one is what this is going to be referred to in the game. So after you go through the events of the swine station and interaction with an NPC, you're gonna essentially be knocked out in a fashion, and that NPC will be important throughout the game. Either way, and then you'll come to, and then this world is this little area, graveyard town, is gonna be changed, and there's gonna be this little guy here who's gonna be a big boss that you fight, which is a mandatory loss that introduces you to other aspects of the game. So, as it is, this little guy, and I have noise suppression off on this video because it was a little bit too mechanical last time, so I turned noise suppression off. I'll figure out the audio at some point. It just is what it is, man. Audio in this kind of fashion is so strange, so difficult. Anyways, and this is going to change the map, right? Like his little arm's going to break this off. There's going to be like a little car that you're supposed to be able to leave with, but it's going to get destroyed. You're going to have to walk, and then it's going to take you. You're going to have to go this way. You'd also explore this way. It'll be an option now because this will be gone, and then you can do all your saving and all that kind of stuff. It opens up the other half of this map, essentially. After this, after you go through all the events transpiring with this little guy. And then don't worry about like the placement, just a flat image so that I know what I'm drawing right now. But and then the like tunnels will be like a little level, and go on from there as you try and make your way back to wherever you're supposed to make your way back to, I suppose. I think it's just gonna be that you're homeless. I think that'll be the best way to go about all of that. So I'll make a little van or something, but the van will be destroyed. It'll be your home, so now you're on foot. Something like that. Harsh realities only. And after all, like, you did come from a pretty hard background, didn't you? But anyways, this little guy is gonna be shaped up to with like the parallax and the layers and everything. So for this map in particular, so that he is it all makes sense, right? Like this little fat part's going to be underneath that tree. Some stuff is going to be gone, like that little wood piece is going to be gone, and this little area is going to be gone, all that. Also, it's going to be fun to figure this out, but it should be easy enough. So what I'm going to do is and the same thing's going to be done in the swine station, which I can't actually show you right now because I don't have that called up, but the swine himself, the chief, is going to be a big chunky dude, and I'm going to have him kind of animated through like show picture and stuff. Probably I think that'll be the best way to go about like the big guys and stuff. So what I'm going to do with this guy, his head is its own thing. So I'm going to have its head as a show picture, and it's going to be here so that we could have it like kind of oops, so we could have it kind of like twist and turn, which you can't see because right, hold on, can I get yeah, so you could have it like, it'll be like doing this thing and making like a kind of noise or something. I haven't figured that out yet. Okay, I don't know what I'm, okay, there we go. So I'll make sure I don't. All right. Save real quick. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna be. So there are gods and there are not gods. I guess. I mean, it's kind of spoilery, but listen, if you're interested in the long term of this game, now is gonna be when we might talk about spoiler kind of stuff. From now in videos on, I guess that's just something that it's gonna be a part of making content about the game development. You know. Because I do enjoy making these videos and they do help me think and figure out new problems and new solutions to those new problems. Anyways, so this guy's gonna be a new old god or new old one. And he's little little baby like, in between baby and not baby like creature. Maybe I should do something with the nose, make the nose more baby like. What do you think? Obviously, I haven't started coloring it in or anything yet. So, and then the freaks, it's going to be explained when you go to the hub and you talk to the, which is essentially the firekeeper, who's also going to be an important character in the game ultimately. With no nose. And the freaks are actually new ones. So they are, despite being persecuted, which is how I'm going to be tackling issues like racism and stuff. It's going to be in like, you know, like if you know what's going on in the US, like ICE and concentration camps, all that kind of stuff. That's how I'm going to tackle that. It's going to be through the freaks. But they are going to be, and obviously like, there'll be other aspects of that. I don't know if racism is the right word because they are kind of like on the white side, but it makes sense in the terms of the game. Anyways, because like, you know, like I don't know. So the freaks are new ones, or like kind of like, you know, I guess a good way of explaining it, and this wasn't premeditated, this is just what I realized right now, is kind of like the failed offspring, like how in the omens in Elden Ring are essentially failed offspring of gods. Something similar to that, not quite the same, but a similar idea. And then these guys are like the more successful versions, right? The new old ones, and then you'll have like the old ones or whatever, like the old ones, and then you'll have like new ones. So that's how I'm gonna handle like the god thing, which I think it's an important part of this. Everything's an important part of this. I don't know why I say that. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna have like this little baby fella. It's gonna be your first introduction to the deeper aspects of gods and such in this game. So they, I mean, good or not good, it's not really developed yet. Who knows? A lot of things are going to be up to interpretation. Like ultimately, at the end of the day, it is dark fantasy in a sense. But I think it would be more accurate, to be honest, to define it as Southern Gothic, which is very similar. There are a lot of similarities between Southern Gothic and dark fantasy. The biggest difference kind of being like dark fantasy is a little bit more ambiguous in terms of morality, I think. And Southern Gothic, while it doesn't, so stylistic, right? Dark fantasy doesn't really need to have a certain aesthetic. It's not necessary. And same, I think, could be said for, or setting, you know, could be said for Southern Gothic. While, sure, like, Southern aspects of that are obviously a big part of that, especially when you talk about the aesthetic of it. But there is more to what makes Southern Gothic, such as dealing with, like, kind of head-on dealing with, like, grotesque aspects of the human experience, and there's a lot of that here. But they are very similar. The big difference really is, you know, I'll be honest, I kind of struggled to find a difference. It's there, but basically, this, like, when I was looking into, like, what the differences are, because, like, it's, like I said, like, in my head, it's like, I mean, they're kind of interchangeable, really. Southern Dark Fantasy is more open-ended. But if I was going to call this anything, I would call it Southern Gothic. And, you know, as a consequence of that, there's going to be lots of, like, themes like that. Like, I got some ideas. I was scrolling through Instagram and came across some really cool, like, Appalachian artists who have inspired me to make some cool NPCs. And I would love to have friends or something that made music like that could just, like, you know, like that one girl who goes like, it's you and me and me and you, both of us, yes, that makes three. You do 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 do. That girl, that'd be cool. But I could play folk, so I could make that work. But I don't have banjo. But then, like, how do you go about asking a random person on Instagram who's incredibly talented, like, hey, I would like to make a character out of you, or inspired by you, and I would like to have your music going on. Like, who's going to be down for that? Like, 2% of the entire world's population. Sounds like a lot, but it's not. You can't find them. Like, I would be down for that. Someone asked me, like, hell yeah. But then you have all the legal issues, right? Like, payment. Like, how expensive would it be for that? I don't know. I don't know, man. Either way, I'll make that work. And I can do a little bit of voice acting, and I do know how to feminize my voice and all that shit. So maybe I'll do it. But I don't have banjo. So what do you do without a banjo? Find banjo sound online and then sing to it? I guess that's possible. It's not impossible. Bang bada bang bada boom boom bang gang bang bada gang bada boom bang 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 bada bang bada bang 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 bada bang bada bang 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 bang, or just have it like that. It's you and me. It's me and you and me. Both of us, 'cause it makes three. I had to get the squeak more femme. That's still neutral, dude. Everything I just sound neutral, gender neutral. Let me see if I can do this. It's me and you and me, both of us, 'cause it makes three. It's not really working. It's not natural enough. And singing makes it even more difficult, just so you're aware. It's you and me and you, both of us, 'cause that makes two. It's not three. It's you and you, both of us. I don't fucking know, bro. What am I doing here? Shoot. My nose. I guess I'm gonna press pause, and I'm gonna talk about the other, like, show you what I was talking about in terms of character design and stuff, like a sprite stuff. All right, this is weird. It's on because I have my tablet, which is my draw pad. It's got a little screen on it, so it acts as a thing. Can I click on things? Let's not do that. Like, but anyways, like, everything's all, like, in weird spots, bro. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay. So sprites, right? Originally, I wanted to use taller sprites. I guess I should get into the game, show you what I'm talking about. Originally, I wanted to use taller sprites, but I was struggling getting it to function. It just wasn't working right. You know? Let me turn down the OBS volume. It just wasn't working right. And that was, like, in my first, like, couple of days or, like, week of working in the engine. So, you know, there's that. obviously, it's been a couple of months-ish now, and I have learned more. I also want to show you something. It won't... shit, I don't know if it'll matter. We'll find out. Shit, it will matter. Okay, I'll show you that after the fact. Okay, so let's go into the world. Now, like I said, like, child sprite is gonna stay the same. Child sprite is gonna stay the same dimension. Doesn't need to be, like, it just makes more sense to be this tiny little thing. It's actually smaller than the base sprite by a little bit. But like half. Alright, we'll go here into this thing. As you can see, we have a taller sprite, and all the sprites are just placeholders currently. So there's that. Now I could just skip like this whole little area, so I'm gonna do that. But it just looks better, right? Obviously the sprites aren't drawn out yet. I'm kind of trying to work on getting through this portion of the game, and then I'm gonna finish drawing everything. But it does look nicer to have that character, especially considering that the map, like the way that I'm going about camera, instead of having to follow the player, is having it stationary. I know, like, that kind of camera, that old Resident Evil 2 camera, is not necessarily everybody's favorite thing, but I think it works here. I think it sets a mood, sets a tone, and that's what I want to do. I'm going to take that risk. You have to take artistic risks. So Swine Station, obviously still in development, and like I said, like, so over here, it's gonna have, like, in this little spot where I'm looking at, I'm gonna draw the swine officer in the same way that I drew the other thing. Now, another thing that, while I'm here, that I'm in between about is the text. My vision is fine, so I could read the text just fine. I know some people's aren't, but I don't really want to have the background. So another thing, like I also posted about, is an alternative to having, like, characters speak, because that stuff kind of shows emotion, like a visual novel style, but it doesn't fit the tone. It changes the tone a little bit. I want it to keep that certain kind of tone that the game has. So, all these placeholders. You gotta have this whole conversation before you could leave. So, like, you know, obviously I have a result for that, for, like, even when you press start, you could go, that is not an adult portrait, by the way, but that'll get done. You could look at your own little portrait when you press start, and any other people in your party or whatever. But there's also the mirrors for the player character that you could look at. And for other characters, I'll figure out how to go about that, you know? Some variables. Maybe even a special little way of looking at it. We'll figure it out for the mirrors for anyone that's in your party. But for other NPCs, figured, well, there should be other ways, right? So, like, here, it says a stiff photo of swine. Surely he fancies it. Now you could get a good look at, like, a proper, like, look at him, because a lot of characters, even though I've decided that this character is going to be a little bit larger, so you have, like, a better idea of what he looks like, that's after the fact, but even still, like, you're not, a lot of characters are going to be like these sprite things, and you could see them, you could like, see what they look like, but it's just not as interesting as, like, you know, that, like, getting a more clear look at them. You know, that could show a little bit more of their personality, right? Like, this guy's, like, stiff and, like, I don't know, a pig. I don't know. But, you know what I mean? So that's how I'm going to go about that. It won't be for everybody, but it will be for, like, anyone who's important. And this guy is important in the way that he sets the precedent of this class of character in the game. Anyways, then I could leave, and it takes me actually to a different map than the one that I was just at. Guess I'll test this whole function. And then you'll like, talking to this guy, you'll kind of have to do that. Like, I have that little door there, but that's happenstance. So there's gonna be something else there that stops you from going that way, and you'll have to talk to him, and then like the whole thing will happen. I have a really cool, I'm excited to get this part done. It's gonna be like a really cool, fun to find out kind of thing. Like now that I have my gears on, I've got a little bit of experience in the engine. I kind of understand like a lot of its ins and outs. I could get a bit more creative now. Anyways, big old text thing, then you'll go through that experience, and then it waits for a minute. I haven't timed how long that wait is, but there is a wait there, which will not last forever, but it's a black screen, so I guess I'm gonna chat while that, it shouldn't be that long, right? It's 500. God, it might be like a whole minute. There might be like a whole minute of that. Hey, what if I like screwed up and I just like forgot to have it like do with, okay, there we go. And this will be where the baby is. Oh, that was a weird, I gotta remember to, so thing that happens that I forgot about is that when entering new areas from another map, I have to reset the camera so the cameras are all aligned, because for some reason that just did like a weird way of moving things. Like it makes sense the way that it's set up, works with your brain enough, but the way that was janky. So I gotta remember to do that. Like when I enter, I'll have to write in a little comment, make the map make sense, the camera makes sense when exiting. Anyways, and then you'll have, this will be where you have like the whole thing happen, and it'll go on beyond there. But yeah, I just wanted to show that. And then one other thing that I want to show is, while I did make the decision to expand Act 0 to like the Graveyard Town area, I think that makes the most sense, you know, because like the core of the most important things at the end of that will be, you'll experience them, instead of trying to shove everything in here. Like originally I was gonna come back here and I was gonna make it so that you had to force a fight a crab or whatever. I'm still gonna draw some more stuff to make this area look a little bit more complete, but still, like that's how I was gonna go about that. And I was gonna have a separate tutorial fight when you fight the freak that explains like the new stuff, like yin and yang. I don't have anything explaining the yin and yang, how you learn that, but I'll have that. Like it's suggested when you pick up the Tao Te Ching book, but you know, I'll have more lore throughout the game. Anyways, so I did decide to expand Act 0 instead, so that like it's just not convoluted. But there's no reason to have two different battles that have two different tutorials. That you can just do it in one thing, because you can do that through show picture, right? So like you'll have a picture show the start of the fight, and then like at different parts of the fight or whatever. I'll probably just have everything explained at the first. I think that'll be the way to do that. So in this area, you used to touch it, and then it would just start the next thing. But now I have it so that says this leads to the lighthouse, and then gives you the option to go home or explore. And for some reason, having like this little interactive thing on this map, on the first like little map that you go on, makes it feel like so much better. But anyways, I guess explore, and then you could keep looking around and everything. And then when you click go home, now it does the thing where it, you know, it's getting a little late though. I need to change that text. There's no reason, the though doesn't fit there anymore. It's getting a little late. Not that I'm afraid of dark or anything, but I should go home. And then if you don't know what to do after that, sucks to suck. No, I'm just kidding. I might make it a little bit more suggestive or something to like enter this. Yeah. See, like, I can't, what am I gonna do, you know? I can't, like, the cutscene's cute. She's a little cute little kid. I don't think that I could change her, like, their, sprite, you know? I just don't think that I got it in me to do that. And I did, speaking of, I guess I could show you real quick while we're here. We're talking about, like, sprites being larger. I did change, mother sprites as well. Obviously this area still needs some work done. I gotta put the wait thing for for this, and I might draw a little sprite while you're waiting for the character. Where they're sitting down and stuff, where you're sitting down. And then I need to redraw change the shading up to be a little bit cleaner here. And I'm still not going to do soft shading. It's easier, and especially when you have all the other different art styles like line shading. I like having two like that, like having one style of shading and then having the line shading that stands out and it has that like, oh, what am I looking at, kind of thing, like to change it easily. You know, I talked about it before, but like how SpongeBob does it with the photorealistic stuff and other like older cartoons like whatchamacallit, Ren and Stimpy and stuff. But if you have like more, like too many more, then it just doesn't do that, and then it just like feels messy, and it's also really complicated in the doing of the art to make that work. So with that being said, as you can see, she is bigger now, and I mean, I guess it's from a distance, but it's the same distance that it'd be when you're playing the game. And I could actually hide behind her now, which is interesting when you walk up to her, and then everything is after that is exactly the same. It goes to this cutscene. And then it goes to the cutscene, and then that's stuff. I talked about everything I gotta talk about. But yeah, I wanted to chit chat a little bit about all that because I just felt like it seemed like a good thing to do. But you know, technically, I could, instead of having the character have a tank top on, I could like make it a little bit more fluid, because the way the cutscene is, it's not fluid, but have it so that her arms are actually not, they're just part of the shirt. Like I could do that as well, but I mean, it's a cute little thing. The overall design, I feel like I like it, right? It's got like that I'm the bullied kid kind of, you know, I have a hard life at home kind of like design. Obviously the blood helps, but that's because of, you know, what has just transpired. You know, like I like it. It's cute. It's like, you know, I'm not the popular kid kind of look. You know, I'm too masculine. I'm supposed to be a girl kind of shit. Which, you know, again, like I'm going to explore all of that kind of stuff. Right? All the things that piss off the anti-woke crowd. I'm going to explore all that stuff. I'm just not going to explore it in a gentle way, because it's not a gentle experience. And again, it's Southern Gothic, so like, you know, the experiencing it in like a kind fashion doesn't really make sense, does it? But that's that. And I will continue to work on the game. I don't know. I don't know. My plan is for this month to get through the section that I just showed you, right? Like get everything like up and going, and then like drawn out a bit more the like graveyard section. But that's a very layered little area. There's a lot to figure out, a lot to write and everything, a lot to draw. And then got to get like the player sprites all drawn out, you know, stuff like that. And each one of those kind of things could potentially be like a day of work on it. You know what I mean? So that's that. I got nothing else to say. So hope you enjoyed the freaking baby gods and all that shit. Bye.